The traditional side of things.
Oh my gosh. Expect nothing, be prepared for anything. Oh my gosh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
So then that statement you will use at the end of the interview. It's not necessarily an interview. It's more like a friendly chat, a wine chat amongst friends. Okay? All right. Nongcebo, welcome to another installment of Faces of Summer 2022.
Thank you.
I'm very, very privileged to finally meet you and make your acquaintance.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm sure you're busy preparing for harvest and all of that. And excited. It's been a very eventful year for you.
It has been busy, and right now we're just going crazy. Everyone is preparing for harvest and we're getting ready for holidays, so it's just, yeah, no.
Do winemakers get holidays?
We
I chose
try.
the wrong career.
We get a breather. Then just, and then it begins. So that's it.
You're harvesting white wine in what, 8-9 weeks now?
Yeah, like mid-January-ish, so we start with our rosé, then that comes in, then our white wine, then it follows on until we harvest our noble late later in the year, which finishes around May. Yeah, so it's a long harvest for us.
Is it Pinot Noir rosé?
No, Pinotage rosé.
Why do you harvest that one first?
So
it's red wine, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the grapes, rosé, for us, we, like most people, make rosé from red grapes. And then for us, we make it from Pinotage especially, and we treat our vines as a red wine, well, white wine. So they are red, but we treat them as white wine. So the way you would treat them in the vineyards, in terms of like plowing and topping or taking care of the vines, we would do that as if we were doing it for white wine. Because there's different processes involved for red wine, and then, yeah, so then we look at it white wine and we dedicate those wines especially just for the Pinotage rosé, and then that comes in first.
But what evoked this thing? What started? Why wine? KZN, wine.
I'd like to tell people I was called into this industry, so it was pretty much just a calling, and I somehow landed into it. But I mean, it's a whole process that came into it, where in high school, I had a bursary from the Department of Agriculture, so I also had to like work hard to keep that bursary. And then like, oh, later on in varsity, if you still wanted to carry on with the bursary, here's a list of scarce skills in the agri-sciences field. And then I was like, oh, okay, wine was one of the interesting ones. I mean, the most interesting aspect of it for me was actually traveling the world with winemaking. So I was like, oh, okay, let's try this out. And then there's not a lot of careers that offer that opportunity where you'd be Northern Hemisphere working, Southern Hemisphere working, like 2 places in 1 year. So that's actually got me into wine, and the rest you just pick up and learn. The passion pretty much grew for me as I was tasting and making the wine.
Oh, fantastic. I think the word for me there was scarcity. I mean, agriculture is really about scarcity. And as much as in South Africa, wine is regarded as an agricultural product, in the world it's a lifestyle product. The rest of the world don't see wine as an agricultural product, but we do.
Yes.
And we are about scarcity. And that scarcity eventually then develops into price. And once something is scarce, makes it a bit bespoke. Shall we speak about the process? How does the process develop from vine to wine at Delheim? And what's your philosophy and art?
Okay, so for us at Delheim, I'm going to start with our philosophy. So over the years, everyone has been making wine, different styles, different way, getting inspiration from everywhere. And we decided actually now to focus on where we are, to actually do produce wines that reflect the area where we are, which is on the Pietermaritzburg mountain in Stellenbosch. So now when we make wines, we make them just as they are. So the environment gives us what we put into the bottle. So the process then starts from the vineyards. We have properties on the Pietermaritzburg mountain where we plant on different aspects up to about 400 meters above sea level. Then we plant different cultivars on those aspects on areas of the farm. Mostly our soils, like our decomposed granite soils, and then we have different blocks sort of to fit that part of the mountain. And I mean, we've seen that they do very, very well where they're planted, where you've got, beautiful sunrise. Where we are actually in Delheim, the sunrise usually comes up at about 10. So like the cultivars that we have.
Because of the mountain.
Exactly. Right. So the cultivars that we have now, they pretty much enjoy that cool air in the mornings, and then they also get less sun or sun exposure. So we get nice fresh acidities as well that are reflected quite well from where we are. And I mean, from there, we've got our vineyard manager that deals with our vines and makes sure everything is taken care of in terms of diseases, in terms of cover crops, which is the plants that we plant in between rows, in terms of anything that has to do with the vine, make sure it's healthy. Some of ours are irrigated, some are not irrigated, so it depends really much on the cultivar. And the ones I brought here today, they are planted on our property where it's not irrigated. So very much dry land, and we've got a mix of bush vines for the Grand Reserve, bush vines and trellised, where the Chenin Blanc, we have the old trellised, but the block is quite old. Actually, it's quite exciting for us. It was 35 years, turned 35 years last year.
Oh, so it's old vine.
It's old vine now, so it's grown. It's grown block. So then from there, we go into the cellar, an offering. So an offering where we have like our super premium, where we do have like the Grand Reserve. We have our black label pretty much. In that, we have the Chardonnay, Grand Reserve, the Edelspatz, and the Pinotage. So that's where we have that, and we have a label that's pretty much like iconoclast label. It's very unfamiliar, it's quite new as well, exciting stuff on that end. So that's where the Diners Club Cabernet Franc falls under.
Oh, I see.
Yes. So that was quite exciting. And then for like everyday drinking, then we've got the lifestyle range where you can just grab a bottle and be like, I'm gonna have dinner with my family. I'm gonna sit by the pool or at the beach, or then I can grab this wine and have it, with friends and enjoy. So we've got everyone covered.
Lifestyle.
Of course.
That's what you call it.
Yes, it's lifestyle.
Right. I like that you are leading me to the next question. What's your take? What's your expert opinion around accolades and stickers?
I've heard so many opinions on this one. It's quite tricky because you've got people that say it doesn't work, it does nothing for the brand and whatnot, and you've got people that actually believe that it actually it contributes to the brand and its prestige pretty much. So, and you see with the accolades and awards, they have quite a big impact on the society, depending on what they are and what people recognize. And I've seen people that look at the bottle and be like, ooh, sticker. And I've seen people like, that doesn't matter to me. So it's very much dependent on people and what their knowledge of wine is and what these accolades mean, really. And for us, for me, it's quite exciting, but I don't make my wine to win accolades. But it's quite exciting to be actually recognized, like, oh, wait, it's okay, somebody did enjoy my wine extraordinarily. So, now...
Wild ferment.
Wild ferment. Spontaneous fermentation. When you make umqombothi?
Yes.
You don't add yeast, but the umqombothi ferments and you get beer at the end.
My sister adds yeast.
Does she?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, this is
for African beer. You just let it Spontaneously?
Yeah, we leave it ferment naturally.
Wow.
So, see, exactly why now you've got
Stop
a different,
teaching me things.
you've got a different way of making it. I've got a different way of making it as well. So with wine, spontaneous or wild fermented wines means we leave the grapes or the juice to ferment on its own,
Yes.
and then allow that to develop its own flavors and make a wine at the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it because I've heard someone tell me that if you would look, especially with red wine, it's more visible. If you would look at the skin of a berry, you'd see that there's a little bit of moldish outside. That is natural yeast that comes with.
Not necessarily, because I'll be quite worried if it's moldish outside. But the only mold that we want, or the only fungus that we want, is the botrytis fungus, which is the noble rot. That's the only one we accept and we love. But if it shows up, it's quite difficult.
So where does the yeast come from?
So the yeast is everywhere. It's in the atmosphere. The cells are so small, it's very difficult to see that. But then when it's harvest time, everything, the environment has a lot of yeast cells. And then when you've got them in the air, then they start fermenting, contributing different characters, different flavors to your wine. It's just very much a mix of, very much a representation of where the wine comes from, actually.
So the natural one.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
No, fantastic. Tell us more.
Okay.
Right. Shall we start with the color?
I'm not very good with colors, eh? Say pale straw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we'll do pale straw.
Yeah.
A beautiful
Very
color.
translucent. Yeah. Very nice.
Yeah.
Interesting nose.
Yes. So.
At first entrance.
Okay. Our notes. Then we'll go like nice peach. No.
So how does that wild ferment translate into the nose? Would it be a different nose if it was a different type of fermentation?
I don't want to say like it has like that yeastiness to it as well, that it comes through. Whereas if you just ferment it and it's a clean wine, then it's just very much clean and straightforward. Yeah, straightforward. Where if it's wild ferment, it's got a bit of angles, and you pick up something new every time you pick up the glass. So you're always going to smell something new. So the thing that's quite exciting with this is that you get your nice fruits, your nice peach. Another thing, you follow it up, it has like a bit of that citrus notes as well coming through, and that herbaceousness as well. So it's not like a green pepper type of herbaceousness, it's more like a fynbos type of herbaceousness that comes through. Interestingly enough, we had a panel, and this wine was tasted blind, and it was a Zulu panel, and we were trying to do, with the Chenin Blanc Association, do the aroma wheel in Zulu.
Yes.
And one of the tasting notes that came through was impepho. So impepho is in its freshness, like when it's fresh, it's fynbos. So when it's fresh, it's just very much like herbs, and it's so that came through like, oh, interesting. So yeah.
Actually. Until you burn it.
No, not when it's burnt.
Right.
Okay, then we move on to tasting.
Taste profile, yes.
Okay.
What I picked up from my first taste is, this is not necessarily a aperitif. It's more like a type of wine that you would use with food, consume with food. That is if you're having it at 12 degrees, but if you chill it further, it would be the kind that you would have with good company on a sunny day.
Yes.
Even a late Saturday, I think that's the type of wine that I would.
Yeah.
But then draw your own conclusions.
Okay.
When would you have it? What would you pair it with based on the taste profile?
Like with wine, it's definitely a social drink. It's very much so. You need company to actually appreciate it more and enjoy it more. This one, I mean, it's a white wine. It's got the nice crisp acidity. So it pairs well with the summer. I mean, you can have it in winter as well, but in summer it'll pretty much be very ideal. You have it with your nice salads, like nice fish, you know, things that we enjoy with friends and family, and you know, just enjoy that aspect of the tasting and enjoying that wine, and yeah.
Now, someone told me that if you ferment wine spontaneously,
Yes.
it's a big risk.
Yes.
Does that translate into cost?
Yes. Yes. Because I mean, we try and make our wines as cost effective as possible. And the risk here, we try also, it's there, but we very much guide the wine to make sure, like in terms of temperature, we have the temperature controlled around it to ensure the yeast, you know, still doesn't get stressed under high temperature conditions. You know, all of that to make sure the wine still finishes fermentation. It's quite high risk, and you'll see with a lot of places when it's naturally fermented, it, you know, it carries quite a price tag.
Heftier.
Yeah, but it's not too terrible. You know, for us, we try.
So it's in the premium range.
Yeah. Yes.
As the flagship.
Yes. Let us try our Grand Reserve. Okay.
But there's so much to talk about when it comes to red wine.
Definitely.
Viscosity, and we don't want to talk about that, but there it is. It's really a beautiful viscosity. Dark center with a very bright rim, which tells me a little bit there that it has some longevity to it.
Indeed.
Most probably another 25 years in ideal
Yes.
cellar conditions.
It can go. The only thing we usually recommend is 15 years?
Yeah.
But we have tasted wines from the 80s, and we were like, wow, okay, interesting. This is aged quite well.
Yes.
I think it has to do with the place that we are at currently. I mean, the acidity that I spoke about contributes quite a lot, and the natural tannin that comes from the area contributes quite a lot in that aging process. So, yeah.
The maturation in this bottle,
Yes.
in this wine, for this particular wine, how long?
In the cellar.
In the barrel.
In the barrel, about 18 months. So it's a year and a half sitting in the cellar. So we have to make sure the barrels, so they call it angel share. Yeah. So when the barrels lose about 3 liters, we have to make sure we top that to make sure the wine stays fresh the whole life for this. Yeah. So it's quite a nice process to make sure your baby pretty much is taken care of when it's maturing, it's growing, and exciting. It's quite exciting to see what's going to be in the future.
And they say winemakers do nothing.
It said, expect nothing, be prepared for anything. Thank goodness. Yeah, I think at this point in my career, I expect everything, you know. And as a winemaker, I'm always prepared for anything. So with colleagues, I have support as well, and the industry is nice and supportive as in that aspect, in that you are always prepared and ready for whatever comes. So yeah, just expect nothing doesn't work for me. Yeah.
I think it really does for me, because if I had expectation of something when you came through, then I would most probably be disappointed.
Oh my gosh.
Because my expectation is that, oh yeah, a new winemaker, but we have learned that you're very wise, very well spoken, and
cheers.
Good at. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you so much for the invite.
It was lovely.
Very nice. Yeah. Wow.
Cheers. Bye.